Monopoly, 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 Monopoly. M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y. Roll the dice. It's paradise.
Oh.
But if you fail, you go to jail.
Rolling on the boardwalk.
M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y.
Yeah.
M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y. Monopoly, 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 Monopoly. M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y. Roll the dice.
Come on.
It's paradise. But if you fail, you go to jail.
I'm just a visitor. Gonna pass go now.
M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y. M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y. Monopoly, 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 Monopoly. M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y. Roll the dice.
Come on.
It's paradise. But if you fail, you go to jail.
Putting up my hotels.
M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y.
Monopoly.
Welcome to NPR Fresh Air. Today we have lead businessman Mr. Bill Jobs.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Fine. So our topic today is monopolies.
The good old monopolies. To introduce the topic, I want to take if you want to take a train from Florida to New York, one possible way to do it is to ride the Amtrak, right?
Yeah.
Can you think of any other possible way to take a train from Florida to New York?
No, I don't think I can.
Okay, because Amtrak has a monopoly on the rails. You know, that's an example. So what is a monopoly? A monopoly is basically, the actual definition is that one company or a group of companies rule the whole industry. So if you take the food industry, for example, the meatpacking industry, it's ruled by 4 major companies. So the 4 companies that rule the meatpacking industry are Tyson, ConAgra, Conair, and Purdue. These 4 companies basically own all the meatpacking factories. They own many of the farmers have contracts signed with them. So they're basically the monopoly. They're running that meatpacking industry.
Oh, I see. So so are there any other monopolies that you can think of?
Yeah, in recent news, we have Duke Power, and the Duke Power buying Progress Energy. That's a monopoly for energy in the South, because now, you either had Duke Power or Progress Energy, but now you have to go through Duke Power to get your energy, your electricity. So these kind of things, like if there's no control on a business, then that's basically what a monopoly is. So until recent years, Microsoft had a huge monopoly because they used to patent all the computer technology, and so when you had to make a computer, or C drives, a lot of the components were patented by Microsoft. So they had a monopoly on computers. But now Apple and other companies are picking it up. Cell phones, for instance, the cell phone business is probably the best example of a competition. It's not a monopoly because you have AT&T, Sprint, and all these different carriers that the people have choices. They can pick which one they want to use. But another thing is, for example, until recent news shows that the iPhone is brought over to Verizon, but until then, Apple and AT&T had a monopoly on the iPhone because there was no other competition kind of thing. So
it seems that we have a Verizon representative on the phone. Yeah.
Oh,
can't see that.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello. Just so they're very proud to have the iPhone.
Okay, that's great.
They're glad to end the monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
They said this is going to help customers get the best options from Verizon.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. See, that's why. I mean, if you have a monopoly, the customer, you never know what the other options are. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But if you have, like, since iPhone is now on Verizon too, people understand that, they can get better plans, better minutes, better service, better call quality, With competition, more is available for the consumer. So the consumer is always happy with competition. All right, so, yeah, that's basically it.
Cool thing. Yeah, so, were there examples of monopolies in the past?
Yeah, for example, the Standard Oil Company, which was owned by J.D. Rockefeller, basically he bought out all the other petroleum companies. This was during the Gilded Age.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so basically he was the owner of oil, and he could lobby whatever he wanted in Congress. Like, the government was responding to him.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an example of how monopolies can be extremely dangerous. Corporate America is controlling the government, then it's pretty bad. Yeah, and then the railroad companies were monopolies, and they are now too. But the reason for railroad companies is kind of understandable because making your own railroad company is a huge task because you have to add your own track, and that's very tedious. It took us 50 years to get one set of tracks. We don't need to add another one. So yeah, so the rail companies are pretty much a monopoly, but that's an understandable monopoly per se. I mean, there are other forms of transportation. You can have airplanes, cars, trucks, buses. One with less infrastructure.
Yeah, so would you say we're living in a Gilded Age now?
Yes and no. Yes, because there are monopolies still there, like the food industry. And no, because we have government regulations on monopolies. Ever since Theodore Roosevelt, we basically, with his trust buster policies, we basically have that in control. So we can put in check. If we feel that, something's going into a monopoly, the government's there to stop it. So I guess experience does help in this situation. So, yes, again, because there still are a couple of monopolies like the rail and the food, but the government is cracking down on them. So that's good. It's not as laissez-faire as it was back in the Gilded Age.
Oh, right. Well, thank you, Mr. Jobs.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, yes.